something different from somebody else would often impact me. So bear with me 1 second. I just can't find, for some reason, the record button has seemed to have disappeared. Excellent. We are up and running and we are currently recording. So again, welcome to tonight's Sunday Armchair Training with me, Jessica Day, as your host. And we are listening to the fabulous Natasha Dykes and on her journey as a senior manager, okay, within Forever, and a background in finance, and she's been within the company now for 3 years. Super excited to listen to Natasha's story. You would have heard me, apologies, do a bit of an intro just before, so now we're only recording. So welcome to tonight's call. And Natasha, take it away. So you can, I'll just unmute myself, or you do at your end, and just take it away.
Fabulous. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. So I'm Natasha Dykes, as you've already heard. And I'm going to be sharing with you my journey over the past 3 years. So as you've heard, my background was in finance, shall we say. My upline managers are actually Bianca Child and Beth Van Dando. So that's the kind of line that I'm in there. And yeah, before I tell you about my journey, I am just going to take you through a little bit about my life prior to Forever Living and how I got involved in the actual company itself. So there we go. This is my life before Forever. So as you can see up there, the top left is it's my parents, my mum and my dad, and my 2 younger brothers at the bottom left. So I am the eldest of 3 siblings, and I'm very fortunate really because I have a very, very positive family. They're very can-do attitude. You know, you can do anything you put your mind to kind of family. So I've been very, very fortunate in that kind of respect. So after the whole, went to school, got my A-levels. I went to Bangor University. I studied criminology and criminal justice because I always kind of wanted to be in a role where I could help in some ways. It's just in some way contribute in a positive way. So I was really passionate about what I did. And my partner there in the middle photos, me and him, we actually bought our first place after my first year of uni. Which was insane. And about a year into actually living there, we actually decided, well, actually we wanted to go traveling around the world. So I guess we did some kind of like goal board, if you like, before I even really knew the importance of it, whereby we wrote down where we want to go around the world, how much money we're going to need, how we actually going to do this now, because we had a mortgage to pay, and I was still studying as well. So that's when I then we rent the house out, we moved back in with the parents, and for the next 9 months I got myself a few jobs whilst in my last year of uni studying and doing my dissertation. So it was a bit of a crazy time, but there was light at the end of the tunnel because I knew we were going to be going travelling for 8 months. So September 2009 came around, and we managed to save together £22,000, and we just literally took off around the world for 8 months. And it was just absolutely incredible. I got a taste of what freedom really felt like, I guess, you know, for those short 8 months. And we'd gone to all sorts of countries, 15 different countries in that time. We worked in an orphanage in Cambodia for a month. We did all sorts of crazy things, from bungee jumping to skydiving, and just really living, you know, like being in the moment and experiencing other cultures. But I knew that eventually, although it felt so liberating, I knew that there was going to come a time when money was going to run out, and we'd have to come back and face reality of getting a job and moving back into our house that we'd rented out. And I was quite excited about it, actually, because I'd never been in a proper career or anything like that. Now, bearing in mind, it was 2010 that we came back from travelling. We were in the middle of a recession, so it wasn't the best time to graduate anyway, if I'm honest. The jobs were quite scarce, especially in the field I was looking for. So I ended up in finance. That's how I ended up in the financial industry, because I actually applied for a graduate scheme while I was in Hong Kong. Because I'm always like looking for the next thing. I always need something to focus on and aim on, like we all do as humans. So when I came back in 2010, I landed in London with having an interview in the financial industry. And that's where I ended up for the next 5 years. Now, it was great initially because they gave me exams to do, which would mean pay rises. And it meant I doubled my income within about a year and a half, 2 years. I'm always been very money driven, very money orientated because of what it can do for you, really. So I've always been that kind of person anyway, hence working ridiculous amount of jobs at times. And it was great, like I say, it was great. And then I'd hit, I guess, a ceiling. And I remember thinking at the age of 23, 24, I remember thinking, is this it? Is this what I'm going to do now? Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 until I'm 67, 70 years old. But I didn't know if there was anything else out there. This is all I knew. So I accepted it. Although I had a thought that moment, I just accepted it and I carried on. So when I met the company's qualification requirements, I decided I'm going to work towards chartered status because I always need the next thing. What's the next goal? What's the next focus? So I had 11 exams to go, and I remember I was working 40 hours a week. I was studying in every spare time I got to pass as many exams to please everyone, to try and get those annual pay rises. I'd always go over and above, and in the end, there was no more financial recognition. There was no more personal recognition. And I was like, oh, okay, is this it? And that's when my mum actually, she started in the business. So my mum there in the top left, it was actually her that got involved in the business herself because she was generally interested in just the products. And all it took for her to say to me was Juliana Woods at the time was making £7,000 a month at the time. Yeah, this is back in 2014. And I was like, what? I was a little frustrated, if I'm honest, but I was like, how is that possible? So I took a look at the business and I jumped on board in February 2014. And I just felt like I could see the light. I could see that, this was going to be going somewhere, and I got it. And I believed in it, and I saw that it was possible because everyone else was doing it. My next goal, my why, I feel I found pretty soon on. Don't worry if you don't have a why, guys. Sometimes it can take a bit of time to really establish it. And I'm hoping as I'm telling you my journey from when I started, that you'll be able to pick up some tips along the way and learn from basically some of the things maybe that I've done or haven't done. So that is when my why was to sack the boss. And I remember the feeling being like, the belief in it, like this is going to happen. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to happen, and I'm going to make sure it happens no matter how long it takes me. So I got started, like I said, February the 1st, I registered my business, and I literally was a sponge. I was such a good student. I listened to my leaders. They said to do 2 to 3 product launches a month. That's exactly what I did. They said to do the cleanses. I did the cleanse. I got the pet boxes out. I spoke to neighbours I'd never even said hi to before. And I was just one big ball of energy and excitement. I don't know what I was doing. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I knew exactly what I was doing. I'd never even heard of network marketing, but I was just excitement. It was like ignorance on fire. That's basically what it was. So by the end of the month, I'd managed to I had my first recruit within a couple of weeks from not knowing what I was doing, and I'd ended on just under 10 case credits personal, and I thought it was absolutely the norm. This is what everyone did. And this is when I learned, I got my first lesson really, and I learned quite quickly that not everyone is going to see what you see in this business, and not everyone is going to do what you're going to do. Because I thought when I'd recruited my first person, I was like, yeah, that's it. She's going to see it. She's going to do it. She's going to do 10 case credits a month. That's what we all do. And she did nothing. And it was a bit of a slap in the face because I genuinely thought that everyone would be the same, and I didn't quite understand. And that is when I learned that it's quite the opposite. We are all different. We have different circumstances, different needs, and it's fine. It's absolutely fine if people don't get it and they don't see it at that moment in time. So I went into the next month with 15 case credits to get, just over 15 case credits, and practically just me. And I remember sitting there with my little piece of paper with my little volume map on it, knowing that this was going to be done. I know there was no doubt in my mind. It was a done deal because I had so many friends and family to show that this works, because I did have a bit of negativity from one side of the family. A case of, this isn't going to happen. I've seen it all before. Maybe when you make over £1,000, we'll take it seriously. So I was on an absolute mission. Use it as fuel, guys. Anyone that ever tells you you cannot do this business or you cannot do what you're doing, use it as fuel to prove them wrong, because you're absolutely freaking well can. Sorry to sound blunt, but you can. So I literally went to town. I booked in the another 3 launches. I carried on with the cleanses. The pet books were going out. I was speaking to everyone. I was booking in the one-to-ones, and I ended on literally, I think it was just over, it was about 16 case credits or something like that in my second month, and we'd hit supervisor. I'd recruited my second team member, Jenny Fong, who's still with me today, and we did it, and it was an absolutely fantastic moment. Now, what happened in that time, it took me 7 months to get to assistant manager, so I didn't do this quick by any means whatsoever. But, you know, I'd gone away for a couple of months. I've gone away in the May and the June time for like 3 weeks at a time, or what have you, 2 and 3 weeks. And although taking my business with me, because I touch my business every day, that kind of thing, I always took it seriously. But when I came back, I actually just ended up with the one team member, which was Shelley Strong. Shelley Strong's actually a manager in my business today. So she's been with me from the start. So I came back and I had to start again. And that's another thing to learn from the business, is that you're going to have to rebuild at times. And we all have tough times, you know, there's going to be times where people don't get it, they don't see it, it's not the right time for them. But I've had to rebuild my business on many occasions. So it's never been plain sailing for me. It's never been a walk in the park. There's been a lot of mindset, personal development that I've had to do. I've had to read the books to understand why business has done what it's done, to understand a little bit about myself more as well. And actually, as I come back as well, that's when the Shelley had actually taken business into Cyprus, which is Lisa Chin, who's another manager in the business. So that was great. Business has gone international, and I felt like I'd started from scratch in some kind of way. And I just basically did the basics again, day in, day out. There was no secret whatsoever. I literally just did the one-to-ones, I did the activity. And what I want to show you now for the digitals on the call, because I believe I'm probably a little bit digital myself, is I put a graph together here. So October of 2014 was when I hit assistant manager. And I wanted to show you here what happened, because I just feel like, have a look at this, because this could happen to any single one of you, where business just can change in a heartbeat. It can change in a matter of months if you just keep going and you're consistently and persistently putting the effort in. So in the August, I'd actually brought through Leanne Williams. Now, Leanne Williams, it was like a breath of fresh air. She could see it. She was a student, and she got it. Bearing in mind, you know, I'd recruited quite a few people at this time that didn't see it, but I got past that. And we worked very closely together. And from the September, we got our basements or what have you. And then we went into October, and that is then when I hit assistant manager, and Leanne came through as supervisor. Now, what changed here, if I'm brutally honest, what changed here is I realised I wasn't getting any further than supervisor for those months, because I was focusing on myself, and it was all seemed to be about me. But that is, I learned quite quickly that it wasn't about me, it was now about my team, and I had to help my team get to where they wanted to get to in order for me to move up the marketing plan. So I started to really focus on them and what they wanted and how fast they wanted to do it, and helping them with their promotion, their personal development. And that's how I honestly believe is how I got through up to assistant manager in the October. So that was another learning curve I took through that. So always focus on your team from that. Then November and December, we had a bit of a drop. And, you know, at this point, I could have been like, oh, you know, my business is halved and I'm done with it, you know. And don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of bad days. I've had those days where I'm like, can I even do this? You know, is this for me? But you've got to just know that you've got to pick yourself up and just keep doing the basics, because look at the people that are achieving all the massive things in the business. You've got to think, if they can do it, then so can every single one of us. So we went into the January really, really inspired, ready to absolutely nail the year ahead. 2015 was going to be our year. We had this massive team spirit on the go. And you can see here what happened with the business, which is just absolutely incredible. The green bars is just my UK business, because it's just your home country that focuses on for promotions and stuff. So in the March is when we actually hit manager. I focused very much on Leanne coming through as assistant manager, and she'd actually helped Donna come through assistant manager in the same month. And then it was amazing. But I didn't stop there. I got to manage it. It was great. It was just an incredible achievement. But then I knew that it was about helping other people get to their position. So I carried on doing the basics. And the next month in the April is then when I helped Shelley, I think it was Shelley, Donna, Shelley and Lisa came up assistant manager. So Lisa over in Cyprus, and Donna came through as assistant manager as well, which made Leanne a manager. So my first manager came through in the April. To be honest, guys, it was one massive blur. It was absolutely crazy. And everyone just buzzed off the momentum. We just got so excited and we buzzed off the momentum. It was incredible. It really was incredible. And then in the May time, that's when Shelley and Lisa came through as manager, which made me a senior manager. Now, senior manager was a bit of a weird promotion for me because it was nothing to do with me. It was to do with the incredible managers in my business. So really, it was their promotion. It wasn't my promotion, which was absolutely insane. So these are the ladies that I was absolutely thankful to, and the whole of the team as well, the whole of the Dare to Dream team, because without them, that position of being a manager would never have happened. And not just that, I'll come on to what it did for me from there on, because it was more about the income rather than the actual pin itself. So Leanne there on the left, and Leanne helped Donna come through manager, and Shelley helped Shelley came through manager, and Lisa over in Cyprus came up through manager as well. So we went literally from assistant manager in January, just me as an assistant manager, to like 5 of us through as managers in May. So think now where you could be in the next 5 months. What could happen in your business? It's so exciting. It's really exciting. So what happened really then, like a lot, I always say, like, so much can happen in just a year. But my income here, I just wanted to show you really what a difference a year makes. Again, this is something that I know that I always wanted to see. Like for the digitals out there, like, what actually really happened there is April 2014, I was doing around 20 case credits. And my bonus recap there was 218, and on top of that was retail. And then a year later, we ended on 175 case credits worldwide. And I remember nearly falling off the bed. I remember it as clear as day. And my bonus recap that month was £2,700, which was just mind blowing. For doing part-time hours around my full-time career, I just earned more. It was just absolutely insane. Words can't even describe it. So it was all started off with, obviously, the importance of doing your goal boards, basically. Like I said, I'd always been a believer in goal boards, so it wasn't something that was completely strange to me when I first started doing it. In my first year, don't get me wrong, I'd said that I wanted to get manager within 5-6 months by the end of that year, that kind of thing, and it didn't happen. And I want you to know that it's absolutely okay to not achieve your goals by the date that you've put. So don't be afraid to put a date on your goals, guys. Just because you didn't achieve it doesn't mean you're never going to achieve it. It just gives you something to focus on. So you can see here on the 21st of December 2014 on the left goal board, I'd actually put the 28th of February initially that I wanted to hit manager, and it didn't happen. And I was in a little bit of a mood, so I actually changed the month to the March and was like, oh, well, it doesn't really work anyway, does it? And I actually hit manager on March, the 28th of March, on that day. And I was like, wow. So if you haven't got a goal board, guys, I really, really recommend that you have a goal board and you date it. And like I say, if you don't achieve it on that date, it doesn't matter. Put another date on it, aim for it again. And what I'd done here on the right-hand side, what meant the world to me was, obviously I wanted to sack the boss, and I put there, you can see Sanlam, that was the financial company I was working for, and I wanted to hand my notice in on the 1st of September 2015. Now, I'd said this on a couple of occasions already, and I hadn't done it, and people in work were saying, oh, I thought you'd be gone by now. And I was like, I will be, you watch, I will be. And in the January of 2015, I remember actually writing my letter of resignation. So if there is anybody who is wanting to sack the boss, I understand that's not, obviously, everyone's got different whys, everyone's got different reasons. Some people absolutely love what they do, which is fantastic. But if you are somebody out there who is like, do you know what, I want to sack the boss, and you want that change, then I would highly recommend you do your letter of resignation. So I did my letter of resignation on the 1st of, in the January time. And in my passion plan, there was a goal map, like a road map. And I put in there that, bearing in mind, I was assistant manager at the time, I said I needed to become a senior manager, help Shelley and Leanne get to manager, and earn £3,000 per month before I could do it. And what happened is that happened, and my letter of resignation. When I handed my notice in, it was actually on the 3rd of September in the end, and that was due to HR basically saying you'd be better off putting it in a couple of days later so you get a whole month's pay. So the letter of resignation got handed in, and it was just an absolutely surreal feeling. Honest to God, it was just, I could feel like freedom was coming my way again. That moment I felt while I was traveling, that like the sense of freedom, I could feel that it was there, almost there within, here we go, 12 days. And then the bottom left was my last day of being an employee in September. So the end of September 2015, I sacked the boss. And again, it was just the most surreal feeling ever. But I remember seeing everyone posting on pages, they sacked the boss, they're working from home now. So many people sacking the boss. And I just remember getting so excited and being like, I cannot wait, I cannot wait for that moment when I can do it. And then to actually do it was just like, wow. So always be inspired by others, because I always think that if they can do it, so can you. There's nothing, we've all got the same tools. Yes, it might take some of us longer. Yes, it is our own journey. But ultimately, if that is something you want to do, whatever your goals are, you can absolutely achieve it. Absolutely. So after that, going back here, obviously there's certain goals that were ticked off. You can see there are some things that weren't. The next day after sacking the boss, we went to Cancun. I didn't qualify for Cancun, but I was now in a position where I could financially be able to book the week and go off to Cancun with all the Eagle managers. And we got to go to the trainings. We went to the parties with everyone. It was absolutely fantastic to be able to go to New York. We went to Lapland for Christmas time. So we got to do more of this traveling, more holidays. I think there's about 6 holidays I went on that year, which was absolutely insane, But then my next goal, my next big goal, so again, it is the importance of having those goals to strive for, was I really wanted this car. I'd seen it in the October of 2015, and although it was an Audi on my original goal board, I had to push the belt out a little bit, and this was the car I wanted. And I did my goal board here on the left, and the aim was to do it by February the 20th. And this is the car I picked up on the February the 1st. And I wanted to be in a position, and I know it might sound crazy, but I wanted to be in a position to literally walk into the Mercedes garage, hand over my debit card and pay for the car outright. And that's exactly what I did because of this business. And I'm sure, 27 grand could have been spent elsewhere on other things, better things, investments or what have you. But it was something that I wanted to do for myself, to be like, this is what, my hard work is paid off, and this is what is possible, basically. So I was able to buy my dream car, which is absolutely insane. But you know what, that's just materialistic. What was really, really important is the friends and the memories that have been created, from going to the success days. Success days are so important, to go to them with your team. The holidays that I've been on, I work quite closely with Bianca, who, like I said, is my upline manager, and we've been to Cyprus together. We went over to help Lisa and her team in Cyprus in April 2015. We've been to Las Vegas together to the GoPro event. We've been to Cancun together. We got to there on the left. We went at Snowdon at sunrise on a weekday, just because we don't work, and we were like, let's just go and do it. We get up at 3 a.m, and it's just all these experiences, being able to go. The friends that you make, best hen party, to go with the team there, and just everyone, cross-line, up-line, sideline. You all know who you are. You absolutely inspire the life out of me. I love every single one of you. And without you guys, would I still be here today? I don't know. But you just absolutely make this business what it is. And without you guys, it just wouldn't be the same. The partying and the meals with Jules and just all sorts, So I want to thank you all as well for being there. Oh, it's just amazing. You can see there as well at the bottom, it's that was the second picture in from the bottom. I got to present in front of 200 to 300 people, and it scared the life out of me. But you know what? It made me feel alive. So if I could give you another tip, it would be to absolutely jump outside of your comfort zone, because that is where the magic happens. That is where you grow. That's where you develop. And we're all scared initially. But the only way to get better is by doing it and by pushing yourself out there and feeling the fear, guys, because I tell you what, the feeling after is absolutely incredible. It really is. And it's such a safe environment to learn from. And I want to thank you all for that, really, because it is a safe, fun environment to learn in and to develop and grow in. The picture of me there with the suitcase, oh, that meant, I know it sounds daft, but I feel like that felt like more to me than even achieving manager, bizarrely enough, because I remember being sat there at a success weekend, and I remember seeing, it was before I was manager, and I remember seeing everyone going up on stage with the suitcase, and I remember thinking, it was the only thing that I felt like I couldn't achieve was the network marketing pin, because I'd recruited 15 people, but it wasn't good enough in my eyes, for me. And I thought, do you know what? How can I expect my team to recruit and to duplicate if I'm not doing it myself? So I set myself a target at manager. I was manager when I set myself this target to recruit 24 people over the year. And I went to town and I focused. And it's true what they say, where focus goes, energy absolutely flows. And I just made it my mission to show my team that if I can do this, they can do this. And I went to town and I recruited. And I think it was about 30 people I managed to bring through in a year. And that for me was like an incredible achievement, just to have that suitcase. And you can ask any of my team. I think I did that absolute nutting, going on about the suitcase. And it's just, like I say, it's the memories, it's the experiences, the friendships. It's just absolutely incredible. And what you take away from it is just, insane. So those are kind of like, I hope you've taken like some of the tips throughout the actual the journey itself, that, like I say, it's not been a walk in the park. It's not been easy peasy. I've had to do a lot of work on myself. I've had to do a lot of work on my mindset. There's times where I've had to make sacrifices to get to where I was, to get to senior manager. I sacrificed things. Like, I remember I went to Success Weekend. I missed my friend's wedding to go to a Success Weekend because I needed to be there to see Shelley and Leanne to go on stage as manager. And obviously I was going on stage as senior manager. But things like missing out on telly, TV, I've not watched it since I've started this business. It doesn't develop me in any way whatsoever. I read the books instead. We've got plenty of books to read in our time. So I value that over watching the likes of Dead Enders or what have you, which is something I used to watch all the time, actually. But there are, like I say, there are sacrifices. I remember I would come back from I wouldn't even come home, man. I'd finish work and I'd go straight a couple of hours away to do a team member's product launch, to then come back that night about 12 o'clock at night with no food, straight after work, to then back to bed, to get up at 6 a.m, to go back to work in a job that I didn't like anymore, to then do another launch, to do the one-to-ones after. Was it difficult? Yes, it was. And I had times where I probably, I had to have a cry and, I'd be like, I don't think I can do this. I was really having a hard time in work, but is it worth it? Absolutely. Would I do it all again? In a heartbeat. For what it's done for me now, to have time and freedom, it's just priceless. Absolutely. Oh my God, I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but it's just priceless what this business can do for you. And I want you to know that you need to believe in yourself, which does take me to my top tips here. My 3 top tips. My main top tips here is believe in yourself so blinking strongly that the world can't help but believe in you too. Sorry, guys. You're gonna have times where, like I say, they're not gonna believe you can do it, and you're gonna have people tell you can't do it. But you need to believe 100% that this is done, regardless, because if you believe it, guys, you're halfway there. And that's something that I had to do, and it's something I still do today. So never, ever, ever compare your journey with anybody else's. They may seem to be progressing faster, but this is your journey. It is not a competition. We've all got different networks prior to forever. We've all got different certain levels of respect and trust from people. We all start at different levels. We have different circumstances, different situations. This is your journey. It's not a race, it's a marathon, guys. And you've got to enjoy and love what you are doing. And success in life comes when you simply refuse to give up, with goals so strong that obstacles, failure, and loss only act as motivation. Any time that you're having like a low day, you're having any kind of like, you're feeling like you're failing, do not give up. I promise me now, you will never, ever, ever give up, because there is nothing as beautiful as this opportunity in the world. There really isn't. And we are so blinking lucky. Yes, it might take some of us longer, but never, ever walk away from your goals and your dreams, because this company will give you everything you ever dreamed and desired of. It really will. So use your obstacles, use your failures as learning curves, because if you can get through that, on the other side, you become a stronger person for it, and you learn a lot. And the universe is absolutely on your side. It really is on your side. So you've got to be a little bit more open-minded to that. So, but ultimately, believe in yourself and keep being persistent and consistent, and you can achieve absolutely anything that you desire. I hope you've taken something away from that, and absolutely make 2017 yours. Decide today, this is what I'm having. It's a done deal. People can either come with me or they can watch me, because it's happening. And I'm going to end it there. I'm sorry for the woo, didn't think I was going to get emotional. I'm not normally one for crying at all, but I hope you've taken something from that. And thank you guys for tuning in on your Sunday evening, and let's just go out and smash the week ahead of us and help as many people as we can. Thank you guys. Bye.